Hello everybody, my name is George Brind on my YouTube channel BrindWho Productions, and today Mum and I are going to basically carry out this hopefully quick vlog talking about the state of the channel and what's going to happen in the future, aren't we, Mother?
That's the plan.
In fact, we have these notes here which are sort of like going to guide us through the stuff to talk about in this vlog. As from this note here, I guess the first thing is, now that the Doctor Who, the George Brind fan series finale, The Desperate End, has been released and done, the people watching might ask us, are we going to make any more episodes after this?
After The Desperate End?
Yeah, and the answer is no, we're not.
No, I mean, it was a good thing. And we had a good time doing it and we learnt lots of skills, but we have been doing it for 10 years.
Yeah, I think more than 10 years. We started in September 2012.
And I think we all feel we've sort of moved on, or that it's had its day, don't we?
Yeah, you know, I think the fact that we've sort of like finished the filming and, you know, it basically got to the point where I just felt like, why are we not finished with this?
Yeah, you know, we filmed the last sessions for it last summer, didn't we? And I mean, we actually had a good time doing it, but I think we all sort of felt that it, you know, now was the time was right to actually bring it to an end. I mean, it had become increasingly difficult to actually get all the actors together. I mean, when we started, you know, they were all at school, and now, you know, one has moved away from the area, another is working.
My brother Thomas is working as well.
And yeah, so I mean, in fact, I mean, people may not know that the finals, you know, the big showdown in The Desperate End, we worked very hard to make it look like all our actors were there at the same time, but in fact they weren't, were they? I mean, there wasn't actually a time that we could get everybody together, so we had to sort of film it in several sessions and try and make it appear that everybody was there at once.
Yeah, well, I mean, simply put, it was nice to do, but I think we've had enough. But, you know, the experience was all nice and good, and I think it's probably one of the best things I've made. Which leads us into our next topic. What do we think the end results of all 10 episodes in the BrindWho series are?
Yes, well, I mean, I do feel that over the period of time, you know, we all got better. We got better at learning lines, we got better at thinking about camera angles, we actually got better footage from the point of view that we did change the camera to a more HD one part way through.
It was actually as from the second episode of Tell the Two Detectives.
Yeah, and I mean, it is quite obvious that the first episode, that the, you know, the definition, the quality is not as good as it. And you know, I think, I mean, I'm you know, very proud of all you achieve, but I think The Desperate End, you know, was a great success. So, you know,
yeah, that was sort of like
of you know, sort of good pacing, good special effects.
Yeah, sort of like the pinnacle of all the work I'd done.
Yeah, and you know, much more idea of camera angles and things than when we started out. So
yeah,
you know, it was a journey, wasn't it?
Yeah, which leads us into the next topic and the fact that I'm now considering the possibility of doing a special edition for all the episodes. Now, viewers out here might say, why have you decided to go down the route of George Lucas messing around with the entire Star Wars original trilogy rather than accepting what you made in the past was what it was? Well, I guess I might be moving into that sort of like Lucas trap, and usually I like to avoid that if possible, but I think the BrindWho series sort of deserves a remasteration in some way.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, looking at it with the eyes that we have now, we might think could have been done a bit better. I mean, the thing I think of in particular is the second to last episode. Remind me what that was called?
The Death Zone, part 1 of The Desperate End.
Yes, and there's some really good bits in it.
Yeah.
But there are quite a lot of sections which you'd have to say are a bit slow paced, with you sort of running around probably more than was really necessary to, you know, to have the impact you wanted. And I mean, I feel that there are quite a few bits there that could be sort of, you know, shortened to make it just sort of flow a bit more pacily. And because, you know, I mean, I love the Dalek. I mean, I think that is one of your best effects
Yeah,
ever.
sort of like, yeah. Thomas Puddock, who plays Eddie Parker, sort of like essentially called that our homage to the scene in the Dalek Invasion of Earth, where the Dalek does rise out of the water.
Yeah, I mean, I remember filming that. That was a green screen in the bath, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it was essentially trial and error, really. But yeah, I mean, essentially, what these special editions are going to be is sort of like basically trying to sort out the pacing, trying to make the dialogue more comprehensible, because when I look back at some of the raw footage, it is affected by sort of like this awful wind noise.
Yeah, I mean, we always intended to like get a windsock or something, but we didn't actually have an
we never got the
attachment on
chance.
the camera that would plug where you could plug something in, and so we weren't quite sure how to power it, and we never got
And there are
around to
other things as well, like how some of the effects are done. In fact, in particular, inside the television, for instance, when Bale for the Electro-Demon, or whatever I decided to call them in the end, gets defeated, it's, well, and I didn't realise this until after I finished it, sadly, that it's technically seizure-inducing. You know, the way it just goes like that, you know.
Yes, it is. It is sort of quite in your face, isn't it, and quite flashing. And yes, I think that could definitely do with, you know, receiving some kind of different treatment.
Yeah. When am I going to release or start releasing these special editions? At the moment, I don't know. I guess I have some small hope that maybe I can hopefully get Back from the Dead done in time for December of 2013. 2023, sorry, which would mark the 10-year anniversary of Back from the Dead.
Yeah, that'd be nice if you could.
But I think aside from that, I think it's sort of like going to be a process, because it's very hard to sort of like try and stick to deadlines.
Yeah, I mean, a bit by bit when you have time, because you are quite busy with, you know, other things now, aren't you?
Work and, you know, sort of like other projects I want to finish. I've got Stingray Marineville Falls to finish for the Clayton Pictures YouTube channel. I'm still in the stages of finishing up Soda Railway Tales, and I'm wondering whether to do an 80th anniversary remasteration of that. And, you know, it's all sort of like really complicated. And there are some projects that, you know, I wanted to do in the past, but I think, you know, are probably going to have to be cancelled entirely. Which brings us to the next topic, the status of my action figure animated episode, The Doctor, which was meant to serve as a prequel to Rose, which was the first ever episode of the new series of Doctor Who when it came back in March 2005. Now, you might remember that in March 2015, I posted a trailer which showed the Ninth Doctor in John Hurt's War Doctor costume, which was essentially sort of like placing a Christopher Eccleston head on top of the War Doctor action figure, followed by a Sontaran in the form of a clone lookalike to Field Major Steyer from the Sontaran experiment. And I even had the idea that Thomas Puddock could play the Sontaran as well. But I think as time went on, I think that program's not going to, or that story, is not going to happen anymore, because, again, I have so much to do. And, you know, you look at those action figure adventures made by people like Matthew Toffolo, aka Batman March, or Tailored Vision, and, you know, you had to make all these cardboard sets and things. You'd have to...
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely quite a lot to it, and I mean, at the time when you suggested it, you thought it would be fun, but, you know, you've done other things, haven't you? And essentially, I think you've got to the end of...
Yeah, I mean, to make up for it, I might make a video at some point where I explain in detail what was to come in the episode.
Yeah, what you were planning, just...
Yeah, and besides, I have put Thomas Puddock's sort of like Sontaran style voice to good use in another project that I've done, so hopefully he's satisfied enough with that. And the final thing to announce now is the fact that I'm working on a BrindWho website, which is essentially sort of like going to be the proud home of, well, I say that because, I mean, you'd think that the YouTube channel is the proud home of that. It is, but, you know, the website is sort of like going to be more comprehensible.
So it's going to be plenty of detail for those who like plenty of detail.
Yeah, sort of like my own perspective of what takes place in the reality of BrindWho. As I might have said, sort of like in the description of videos and all that stuff, the George Brind fan series is essentially set in an alternative reality where everything established on screen from 1963's An Unearthly Child all the way up to 2013's The Day of the Doctor, followed by my own interpretation of how the story goes, is what's contained.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's no Peter Capaldi, there's no...
Yes, so, and obviously, you know, you're doing sort of character bios for, you know, the cast of BrindWho as well, aren't you? I mean, for, you know, the characters like Eddie Parker and...
yeah.
For example.
Whereas, you know, characters like the Doctor, the Master, the Meddling Monk and all those, that's sort of like going to be pretty extensive because I might have my own interpretations, particularly on things that we did not see on screen.
Yes. So I don't know if you're planning to do summaries at all, because your bios of like how many pages worth was your bio of the first Doctor?
The first I don't remember, but however long they are, I think I might do summaries. I could do sort of like, you know, a summary, and then maybe if people want more details, they can click on the link to that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that might be an idea, because it's certainly very, very detailed and comprehensive, isn't it?
Yeah. Again, when will I publish the site? At the moment, I cannot tell you. I mean, maybe I could get it done for the 60th anniversary this November, but at the same time, considering there might still be a lot of work by then. I mean, I don't know, maybe I can upload the site in its current state, and any bits that are not finished, I can just say coming soon.
Yeah, I think that would be fine. I mean, I think you've probably got enough already that you could, you know, upload what you've got.
Yeah, in terms of essential information, the sort of like how I made the series and all that stuff. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I hope Mum and I did not bore you with our
Well, we probably did, because we've rambled on a bit, as usual, but anyway.
Yeah, and thanks for watching, everybody. Thank you so much for your support. Continue to like the series, even though it's finished now. Stay safe, stay awesome, stay healthy, be kind to everyone you meet, and have an amazing day. Take care.
Yep. Bye then.
Goodbye.